The Dragon Ball Super Broly movie confirms that Goku was sent to Earth to be saved, not for any malicious reasons like destroying the planet. But this still begs the question, what if he didn't hit his head? After Gohan finds Goku in the space pod, everything plays out normally, until one day Goku almost falls out of the bag he was being carried in and down into a ravine. This gave Gohan a scare and he proceeded with caution when it came to Goku after that day, making sure that mistake wouldn't happen again, which results in Goku not hitting his head. But this doesn't mean that he's going to destroy the Earth. At best, he will remember things from his past and have a change in personality, which is the option that we're going to lead with. Goku is not at all happy in this version of events. He would act more like a Saiyan than he did. His fighting style would also differ as he is more rowdy and uncontrollable. He may even get stronger from this as he would encourage Gohan to train more. Much like originally, training would be like his comfort zone, a place for him to feel at home like the Saiyans. Though Gohan would still die as Goku can't control the Great Ape form. This would devastate the boy for some time, but like normally he would get over it. As the years go by, he remembers things from his past. They're flashes really, his mother and father's faces, being told to survive, little things like that. But they go a long way as Goku keeps them in mind. This would also assure him that he isn't from the Earth. He knows he's a Saiyan. He's given hope when Bulma arrives at Mount Paozu to request the 4-star Dragon Ball. At first, he's hesitant to give it away, but maybe this means he can revive his people, or Gohan. Majority of events would remain the same going forward. When Goku and the group are trapped inside Pilaf's palace, he informs them of his transformation. He tells them about the Great Ape. He knows how it's activated and he sees the full moon. Goku informs them that once he does transform, he needs Puar to turn into scissors and cut his tail off. They execute this plan and it works near perfectly. Great Ape Goku defeats the Pilaf gang quite easily, and Puar, guided by Yamcha, cuts off Goku's tail, reverting him back into a human. Shenron is still up in the sky and patiently waiting for something to be asked of him. Even though Bulma wants to make her wish, she realizes that she wants to be with Yamcha, and that Goku's wish would be more important. Oolong doesn't make the stupid wish either. He knows of Goku's past and wants him to go ahead with the wish he wanted to make. Goku steps forward and asks Shenron to bring back his family. Shenron explains how the planet they were being kept on was destroyed, so first he will need to bring that back, which will consume a whole wish. He explains to Goku how he'll need to gather the Dragon Balls again to make the wish he wants to. His eyes glow and Shenron brings planet Vegeta back. Goku sighs and Bulma gives him the Dragon Radar. He's aware that it'll take them a year to be used again, so in this time he goes ahead and trains with Roshi, his power growing at the same rate as initially, though he does attempt using the Great Ape. It doesn't go well as he destroys Roshi's house, so they put a halt on that for now. The tournament would go about the same, except Goku never turns into a Great Ape knowing the cause of it. He just doesn't look at the moon. Goku then goes to gather the Dragon Balls once again. He's met with the Red Ribbon Army. That whole arc also proceeds the same. When Bora dies, Goku recognizes Upa's pain and decides to just help him out. His wish can wait. This leads to Goku entering Fortune Teller Baba's tournament. Most fights go the same up until Goku fights Spike the Devilman. Now here's the options. There's a really bad ending for Goku and a really good but less realistic ending for Goku. The bad ending is that because Goku never hit his head, he isn't purely good. Even if it's just a drop, even if it's just an ounce of evil, it's still there. This means that when Spike uses the beam of evil, he expands Goku's evil and it blows him to bits, resulting in his death, and the end of our story. But the other ending is that Goku avoids the beam and beats Spike, so we're gonna go with that one. This eventually leads to him fighting Grandpa Gohan at the end, and we get a tear-eye moment where Goku apologizes for what he did. Gohan obviously has no hate towards him and gives him the closure that he needed. Goku collects the last Dragon Ball and wishes Bora back to life. Now we have a 3-year-long time skip, and unlike the original, this is an extremely important time for Goku. In the first year, he finds the Dragon Balls and wishes for his family to be brought back to life. They are brought back on planet Vegeta. This would only consist of Bardock and Gine, as we know them to be the only family he had aside from Raditz. Both parents would be extremely confused at why they're back and how they're back, and why there's literally no one else on the planet. They can't really do much about any of that. All they really care about is getting to Earth, to get to Goku, and eventually Raditz if he did survive. Unfortunately for them, even though Vegeta was brought back, the planet's technology and everything on it pretty much was still destroyed. So another year would go by, and this time Goku wishes for his family to be brought to Earth. This includes Bardock, Gine, and Raditz. The family are reunited and share a heartfelt moment, though Goku has no idea who Raditz is, and Raditz, unfortunately for all of them, has a scouter on him. Bardock destroys it first chance he gets, but at the minimum, both Vegeta and Nappa know where they are, and they're headed right for Earth. Bardock sees this as an absolute win though. Now they'll have a general in the Force on their side, and the Prince. This will be great in building their strength to take on Frieza. In this last year, Goku spends time getting to know his father, mother, and brother. Raditz himself is excited to have a brother, especially because he's stronger than him, making him not the weakest one around anymore. Speaking of being weak, Bardock won't tolerate that anymore. He starts training them immediately, and as he does, Kami descends down to Earth. He sensed the extreme powers that appeared on the planet, and was concerned. After observing them for some time, he realized that they mean the planet no harm, but he has to ask what their intentions are. After explaining the whole Frieza situation, Kami offers to let them train on the lookout as he has access to the Room of Spirit and Time. Bardock also requests the equipment for gravity training, as this planet's gravity is extremely low compared to Vegeta's. Goku can help with that as he gets in contact with Bulma, who builds them a machine in a capsule, which they take to the lookout. These last few months are spent training, and training brutally. Luckily, Korn is constantly working on Senzu which provides the Saiyans with constant Zenkais. Their training with Bardock is brutal. He pretty much beats the living hell out of them every day and lets them heal and try again, and that's on repeat. He waits to go into the room Kami was speaking about until the Prince and Nappa got here, which they do eventually. Vegeta thinks he owns the world because it's Vegeta, but when he meets Bardock, things start to change. He's told that Frieza destroyed Planet Vegeta, and although he had his suspicions, this confirms it. Bardock is able to convince Vegeta to join them simply because he can be the prince to the remainder of the Saiyans if they end up stopping Frieza. Bardock has no interest in being a king or any sort of royalty, he just wants to defeat Frieza. Speaking of, Frieza has been made aware of Planet Vegeta's revival. He thinks to himself how it could be, but when he can't come up with anything, he simply destroys it and moves on. He realizes his Saiyan pets have been gone for some time, and he reaches out to them. Bardock was smart in telling Vegeta to bait Frieza by telling him they were taking over this planet for him. Frieza of course bought this for the moment, but how long that would last is completely up to him. The group take turns training in the Room of Spirit and Time, each of them spending 6 months with Bardock. First Goku and Bardock spent 6 months together, then Bardock and Raditz, followed by Vegeta, and then finally Nappa. Bardock wanted to make sure everyone was on board, and he wanted to personally train them. They spend the rest of their year and a half training with each other, followed by a lot of training in the gravity room. This paired with Zenkais boosts the Saiyans to millions in power level. Let's do some power scaling, shall we? Bardock has had about a year's worth of gravity training, 2 years in the Room of Spirit and Time, and Zenkais. Let's just combine the total Zenkais to be about the boost that Goku got on Namek from just one of them, being 33 times. Then let's look at the training Goku did on King Kai's planet. That gravity and the Room of Spirit and Time's gravity is both 10 times, but Bardock trained with various people who had high power levels. Goku got about a 20 times boost from King Kai's training in 6 months, so multiply that by 4 to give us 2 years worth, which gives us 80 times. On top of that, Goku's gravity training for only 6 days gave him a 10 times boost. They're doing gravity training for about 2 years. Given that Goku, Raditz, and Vegeta would have taken a lot longer to acclimate to the gravity due to their child bodies, let's just say it's only about 1 year's worth. But we also have to take into account the fact that the same training in Dragon Ball has diminishing returns over time, so we can cut that year into about 3 months. But that's an extreme lowball in my opinion. Though it still means they would get this 10 times boost about 15 times, which means that this is a 150 times boost for Bardock, and that's not accounting for the training partners because Goku didn't have those while training to go to Namek. Bardock's power level in the movies is 10,000, but canon Bardock at most is about 4,000. His 4,000 times 33 for the Zenkais is 132,000. Then we multiply that by 80 times, which gives us 10,560,000. And then we multiply that by 150, and that's a low ball, which gives us a power level of 1,584,000,000. Yep, I'm thinking the same thing you are. What is Frieza ever going to do to stop this, and how is this even possible? Well, first of all, he's not. We're going full force crazy, though this is within the confines of Dragon Ball logic. Oh, and just to mention, Kami had the Saiyans deal with Demon King Piccolo, and he spit out an egg which contained Piccolo Jr. Bardock thought it would be a good idea to add Piccolo to their band, and he didn't really need to convince Kami because it's Bardock. What's Kami gonna do? So Piccolo is also very powerful and on their side. Frieza's lured to Earth with the promise of Dragon Balls, and when the Saiyans launch an onslaught on him, he dies. Pretty cut and dry. Now we have a lot of peace. The Saiyans would never learn Super Saiyan, Goku would eventually marry Chi-Chi and have Gohan, whose life goes a lot more peaceful, which does mean that he isn't nearly as powerful, missing the potential unlock from Guru, and the 1 year's worth of training he did with Piccolo, and all stuff of that sort. Though he does do the training with Goku every now and then. Bardock and Gine live a happy life, for now. Vegeta gets with Bulma, and let's just say Raditz would get with Launch because Masako. Future Trunks would show up, and he is amazed to find out the power that everyone has, and just as surprised to learn that none of them know Super Saiyan. He's confused. How could they not? He shows it off to Goku, who keeps it in his mind. Now we get to the real threat. The androids. They are no joke. These androids have been fed the data of the current power of the Z Fighters, so they're pretty much exactly the level of threat they were originally, except there's no Super Saiyan to save them. Jiro and 19 fight the group, and death ensues. Jiro kills the human Z Fighters while 19 takes on all of the Saiyans. Piccolo suffers a death which makes Goku's anger explode. He lands a kick to 19 which sends him flying back, but Jiro joins the fold. Together the two of them end up killing Nappa and Raditz as well. But that's exactly where the android's rampage ends. Not only did Raditz's death make Goku transform, but also Bardock, and Nappa's death triggers Vegeta's transformation. Pretty much simultaneously, all of their power reaches a level like no other. They easily kill Gero in 19, right when Goku's Heartfire strikes. Goku heals up eventually, but they're left to face a new threat, Cell. Cell would end up absorbing 17 and 18, the ones that are far stronger than their original self, which would make Cell, again, the same level of threat he was, except there's no room of spirit and time training left to save them because they've already used up their years. Cell kills them. Yep, that's how it ends. Leave a like and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.